Hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. I've had to change location since my internet is not so good at the moment. Yeah, sorry about that. I've got a curtain, well, not a curtain, I've got a blind behind me. There's a window behind me. If I have the blind open, obviously, I'll be just a silhouette against a very bright background. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting there. Oh, it says politics social. Look, it's not supposed to say that. Uh, not with it today. Anyway, sorry for keeping you waiting there. A huge technical problem. Very, very good chance we're going to drop frames. Yes, we are dropping frames like an absolute bitch. Okay. Um, yeah, that's not good. Um, um, okay. Try disconnecting and reconnecting the internet. Yeah, the entire internet, Miss Paula Thomas. Just give me one sec. Um, okay. I don't know where my phone is. Where's the put my phone? Where's me? Oh, it's on there. 1 second. Let's hope the USB cable stays to it. Cool. Yes. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on it. I'm not going to do anything major just yet. Just seeing if I can get the speed back up. Whoa, that is really slow. No, it's still dropping frames. Still dropping frames. Oh no, it's gone up. It's gone up. It's gone up. Okay. Okay, right. We're about the right. Oh no, it's gone down again. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You dropped out there. Yeah, there may be technical problems. There are technical problems. I'm just gonna leave it for a moment. I've just asked everyone else in the house to stop streaming if they're watching a video or something, because that might be using up all the internet bandwidth. I don't know. No, it's gone down. It's dropped again. Um, are you in the shed, Graham? Yes. I'm not actually in the shed. I'm sitting on a windowsill. I'm sitting on a windowsill. Like, who sits on windowsills? Fairies sit on windowsills and trolls sit under a bridge. Is that right? I don't know. How's the sound? Is the sound okay? Because you know what I look like, don't you? Like, does it matter that no, I'm still dropping frames. Still dropping. 1 in 3 frames is being dropped apparently. The internet speed is all over the place. It's like it goes up to normal speed and then it just drops off to nothing, and then goes up to normal speed again, then drops off to nothing. So Andy runs away from Thames water nationalisation, not with a Z. Israel start nicking Syrian land, and we have Israelis attacking nuns. Is anyone looking forward to the weekend? No, not really. No, no. Yeah, sound is fine, but a bit scouse, says Shropshire Chris. Oh, well, that's good news. That's good news. Sounds fine. Okay, well, listen. If the sound's fine, I'll crack on with the show. We'll see how we go. I've only set one target today for one super chat for a tenner. So if someone wants to throw a super chat in, you'll get some bin feffy or confeffy or whatever feffy you desire. Let me just. Oh yeah, actually that would be a good idea. I could close some other windows on here. Okay, right. So yeah, the only thing I've got running now really. Should I turn off the Ozbot Center, the OBS bot, OBSBot Center? Should I turn that off? That doesn't make any difference to the speed of the internet, though, does it? No, it should be all right. Okay. Looking at the dropped frame rate, it's still clocking up at a fair old tick. As long as the sound's not getting messed up. Death missed again. He got the King of Norway this time. Yeah, Jenny, and the guy did the voice for Optimus Prime in Transformers: Robots in Disguise. Could the death of Norway's King Harald open up the Trump Epstein files due to the Crown Princess's links? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know there were Crown Princess's links. I know there wasn't there a Crown Prince of Norway who's gone away for being a nonce. or a sex offender. I think he's a sex offender. One of these bloody nepo babies, eh? Talking of babies, so let's crack on. Trump has renamed the Lake Ontario Lake America in an executive order signed yesterday. He referred the US government to change the name to Lake America. In the same way that he changed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, very original, and also he changed the name of the Department of Defense to Department of War. And every time he does this kind of shit, what happens is it just results in loads and loads of stationery paperwork that has to be carried out. Maps have to be changed. Signage has to be changed because Trump has thrown a hissy fit because Canada told him where to stick it. If I was Canada, mate, I'd just turn off the lights. That's it. I'll just flick the switch. Oh well, never mind. They keep telling us that they don't need us, but you know. Cat's just come in the room. Hi, Cat. Oh, she can't hear me. Have they got an air? I don't know. Hi. It's dropping like every other frame, but apparently the sound is okay, so I'm gonna just keep going. But it keeps going like at normal speed, and then it just drops off, and then it goes back up to normal speed again.
Be a podcast today then.
Yeah. Close your eyes, everyone. I'll try not to move too much. It's going to be max headroom, isn't it? Especially with this background. Apparently, the CIA visit to Putin earlier this week was to warn him. They know he's planning something over the Baltic states to test NATO. Don't do it, Vlad. You'll regret it. Well, I hope that's what he was told, because the head of the CIA was quite a hawk towards Russia, unusually for that lot in the American government right now, because a lot of them are big fans of Vladimir Putin. You know, like who's that gobshite that we hate? Farage, he's a big fan, isn't he, of Putin? Putin on the Ritz. I give the Reaper a bit of a pass because he claimed Ratko Mladic. Yes. So Ratko Mladic, he was the butcher of the Serbian conflict, the butcher of Bosnia, and him and his death squads murdered hundreds, thousands of people because of their ethnicity. And he died, so that's good. Died in a jail cell. And there's a part of me that thinks, yeah, you know, it would be nice if the Grim Reaper hadn't I'd read the note saying 80-year-old blonde wigged, heavily make-upped person called Donny, but obviously he read it as Dolly, and that's understandable, you know. I mean, L and N are quite close to each other in the alphabet, I believe, and you know, what a mistake to make it. But there's a part of me that wants Trump to see his downfall before he carks it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him to go out on top. I want him to go out shitting and pissing himself in a jail cell, alone, not knowing how to clean his own ass. Do you know what I mean? That's how I want him to go. Sorry, you may find that a bit sadistic, but he's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare. You know, just what is he doing? He's you know, Lake Ontario forms part of the international boundary between the United States and Canada. What do they? Is it on the American side? It's called one thing, and on the Canadian side, it's called its actual name that predates America. You know, it's an international lake, and they can't rename the Canadian portion of it. And this is all part of the escalating trade dispute between the two countries, kicked off by Trump. They had a deal. They had NAFTA, and then they did away with that, and then they got US MCA deal, and Trump doesn't like that either, even though it was his team who negotiated it. After the deal, mate. But yeah, he said that the order's been done because Canada's been ripping us off on trade. But you know what's really pathetic about this? It's like, imagine like you were upset with someone who was completely in the right, and like you had messed up, and the way that you get back at them is by calling them a different name. Okay, that'll learn, I'll say. It is just mad. Trump is such a tool. USA is running out of toilet paper due to tariffs, and Carney thinking of blocking wood pulp exports. Sounds like a good plan. We talked a little bit yesterday about Meta's huge child safety settlement. This is going to be massive because they have settled out of court, and because Meta, Facebook, exists in pretty much every country in the world. Everyone's lining up now to say, right, we want some money off you. Right, we want some money off you. Because they're essentially admitted, not in court, but out of court. So this can be used in another court, in another jurisdiction to go, you see, they settled out of court because they know they've done wrong. Compulsive use, harmful content, and the effects of platform design on children's well-being. You know, making this stuff more addictive than crack. And the changes that are coming in as a result of this lawsuit that was brought by 29 states of America, so over half the states of America brought this. Tighter restrictions on use, restrictions during certain hours, strengthen parental controls, age-appropriate settings, changes to some engagement features. This is just for kids in the US at the moment, and I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be rolled out worldwide because the other countries are just going to jump onto this bandwagon, quite rightly, and say, listen, you're not on for this, you know. There was another story as well that I wanted to bring up, which was the Trump and the beef. Did I mention this yesterday? I can't remember whether I covered it yesterday. But essentially, Trump has said that he's going to bring in all this mystery beef. It's all coming from Argentina. And he's going to allow some mad, like 300,000 tons of the stuff to come into America tariff-free because the country in question isn't doing so well at the moment and he needs to help them. And all these beef farmers in America are just like, what? You got all the farmers who were screwed over by the end of US aid, right? So a lot of American farmers made food for US aid, so they all got screwed over. A lot of American farmers made food for people on, welfare benefits, whatever it's called in America. Then that's gone, so they've lost all their trade, and now he's gone after the beef farmers. And I've seen footage of American beef farmers crying their eyes out, saying, I voted for Trump, I didn't vote for this. And I'm just sitting there laughing, going, you did, mate. This is exactly what you voted for. It's exactly what you voted for. Trump is a very petty person. I hear the Spanish invasion last month was just Morocco doing his bidding to get back at them for calling him out. People died in that point he wanted to make. Yeah, he's incredibly petty because he's a baby. He's a toddler. He is fighting for his right and the right of other Americans to be babies. They want to have freedom without responsibility, which is a baby. That is what a baby has, because a baby is a baby. Is Graham in a tent? No, I'm this is a what's it called? This is a blind behind me. I can lift it up if you want. But the problem is, if I do that, see, I could have a bit of light coming at the bottom there. Does that look good? Does that look kind of cinematic? Oh, but the more I raise it, the more it's going to be. See, there's outside out there. Look, it's just about the more I raise it, the more I get silhouetted out by the light behind me. But there you go. Does that look worse now? Does that look better? It's like going to the opticians, isn't it? Better or worse? Better? Should have just lifted up a little bit, not too over my face. There you go. Does that look better? Does that look better? I don't know. Someone might say, put it back down, Graham, you lunatic. But yeah, it looks a bit more dramatic now, I guess. Trump hasn't seen Canadian nasty yet. Is that like Minnesota nice? I was spoon-fed when I was a kid. I know I've seen the X-rays. Hey, Fump is a bit. Giving away toilet rolls a couple of weeks back in town made of bamboo. Hey, what? I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Let's explain that one a bit. See, sometimes when I miss the first, I'm reading the messages, and sometimes I'll miss the ones that have come before, and I'll just jump in halfway through a conversation. I'm like, what? Happy birthday to Alice Durham! Oh, brilliant! Happy birthday! And Ella sent hearts to Alice Durham. This is for Alice Durham. There you go, Alice Durham. This is for you, my friend. Happy birthday! Woo! Yay! Awesome. I didn't expect leopards to eat my face, says Colin. Yeah, true. We've also had these threats by Russia on military, British military targets, and this warning has come from the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman Maria Zakharova, and she says the threat is a response to the Ukraine using British supplied Storm Shadow cruise missiles against targets Russia regards as its territory. Well, hang on, Russia. Don't you get out arms and weapons and people from North Korea, North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa? You get people from Iran. You get arms. You get drones from. I'm pretty sure you're using drones, which come from Iran. Why are you getting pissy when someone else does it? Um, Yesterday, Graham, my friend. Happy birthday for yesterday, my friend. And well done for another successful orbit of the sun. Moscow's issued threats like this before, so I wouldn't take it like too seriously, And Zakharova warned of catastrophic consequences if Britain continued its current policy. And you know what? They're just trying to make people panic, and they're good at it. They're good at it. They're good at making people panic. And I'm going to bring this down because it's annoying me a bit. That the light the color temperature keeps changing on the video. I don't know if you're noticing this, but it was fucking me off. um, no, it is one thing I'd like to help with if I possibly could in the way that sort of Britain is at the moment and the world is. I just I just want people to chill. And I know it's very difficult if you're panicking and you feel like the water's coming up and everything, and someone says to you, "Why don't you just chill?" It doesn't really help. But in the same way, I don't want homeless people. I don't want refugees. I don't want them to exist. Do you know what I mean? I don't want anyone to have to leave their home because they think they're going to die. I don't want anyone having to live on the streets. I don't want people being stressed out all the time. But our society is um, it is designed to stress us the fuck out all the time. So, for example, I'm going to see Pulp later today in Manchester, and it's probably going to rain. It's probably going to rain, right? And I've got a little brolly, right? But do I take it with me? Because there's a chance it'll be taken off me at the gate. And I'm like, well, what do I do? To take the brolly and cats, well, I really like that brolly and don't want them to take it off you. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to probably go and get another brolly. Like, things like that. It's like, which will probably get taken off me, but it's just like a little thing like that. It's just like a little bit of stress that you don't need in life on top of everything else. You know, parking your car, people driving cars, that's stressful for everyone. The just, everyday life, paying taxes, paying things on time, not getting a fine for making a mistake. The HMRC are talking about fining people for making mistakes now. Um, and they say if it's an honest mistake, we'll let you off, but if it's not, then we're going to fine you. And it's just more stress. And it's not like returning your tax return isn't stressful enough. But we talk often. So it's not like I want to say to everyone, just calm down, just chill out, because that's kind of patronizing, isn't it? Right? What I want is a society in which we're not all constantly freaking out. Because in the same way that people only have so much human kindness to give in any one, or one topic that they can particularly focus on at any one time, I think that we get to a point where life gets so stressful we check out, as in, like, people are stressed about the climate, so instead of doing something about it in a calm and orderly way, that they or panicking about it, they just switch off and say it's not real, it's not real, it's not happening, it's not an actual thing. We saw this during the pandemic, and I wish we could create a community, a society, a nation where we were just chill. There was nothing worth stressing out about, but we're not. And a lot of us are on medication or have taken medication in the past that has affected our brain functioning in some way, sometimes negatively. And there's a lot of very paranoid people out there, my age group, and they all seem to be the one who did a lot of drugs in their 20s. I've seen that. I know. Look, I know that causation is not Correlation is not causation. Yeah, I get that, but it does seem a little bit too coinky dinky. That a lot of my friends who, when they were teenagers, when they were in their 20s, were like, "Give me all the drugs, give me all the drugs," and are now sort of settled down, got married, had kids, gone into eased themselves into middle age, and now the effects of what they took back then, which I'm sure were fun at the time, are kicking in, and they're getting mad paranoid, and paranoia stresses you out. And paranoia, stress, that also leads to other mental health problems like depression. And so, yeah, there's a couple of things, but first of all, I'd like society to not be so bloody stressful all the time. Yeah, if you're late getting to your train, it's okay. You can get the next one. It's fine. There's going to be loads of empty seats. If your train's late, it's all right. Don't worry about it, because we'll sort you out the other end, so you get a taxi to where you need to go, so you arrive on time. No, just everything's sorted. Just don't worry about it. But instead, we have a world in which we are panicking all the time, because the world has set us up to panic all the time. Um, I'm really excited about Birmingham bringing in a 20-mile-an-hour um, speed limit across the city, except on a few handful of trunk roads. Everything's going to be 20 miles an hour now. Good. Slow the fuck down. Slow down. Just slow down. It's fine. You're traveling at 20 miles an hour, you kill 1 in 10. Sorry, 1 in 20 people. 1 in 20 people you kill with your car if you hit them at 20 miles an hour. At 30 miles an hour, it's half. 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 Half of them die after getting hit in a car at 30 miles an hour. So yeah, little suburban streets, little terrace streets with cars parked on both sides of the road. The kid runs out, you're not going to see them because the cars are so big these days. You're not going to see them until at least 12 years old. And then, all this is very stressful for us. So I'm very glad that Birmingham has followed in the path of Cymru, of Wales, to do that. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. And it's very symbolic as well, because Birmingham is Car City, it's spaghetti. It's the home of Spaghetti Junction. It was where we had the British Motor Works and all that shit, wasn't it, back in the day? And they didn't the 60s town planners who wanted to build the cities of tomorrow screwed us all by building these inner city motorways in Birmingham, in Leeds, in Newcastle, in Manchester. There's stunted vestiges of a inner city motorway in Liverpool, but thankfully they never got that far into it. But yeah, I'm seeing the tide turn against the age of the car, where the car has to be kept happy all the time, and the car must not stop. And the mentality of the car must not stop. The pedestrians must stop. The cyclists must stop. The horses must stop. The donkeys must. Everything else must stop in deference to the car. And no, that's got to end. That has got to end. The cars need to stop, because cars have got AC in them, mate. Or they can wind the windows down. You're sitting down. Piss off. Anyway, Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Hugs to all that need them. Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you very much for that super chat, little £2 super chat there. Thank you. Our small business fined by HMRC after an honest mix up around COVID time. Yeah. But you could probably make a list, couldn't you, Mr. Tisk, of all the different things that stress us out on a daily basis, little things like showers. Every shower's different. It's like every shower manufacturer patents one thing, and then the other shower manufacturers can't use that same thing on their showers, whatever it is. And it just means that every time you go somewhere new, you go to a new hotel, or you stay at a guest house or a backpacker's or a friend's house, you're confronted, standing there, naked, wet, with the controls to something that could freeze you to death or scald you, and the controls are always exactly where you need to stand if you want to get wet. They're never outside the shower, are they? They're never like, okay, I'll get the shower right, put my hand in, okay, that's about right, I'll step in now. No, it's always, got to get in the shower, and then whatever happens. It's stressful. So you wake up in the morning, you're stressed. The first thing you do is have a shower, and it's a big fucking stress if you're somewhere new. Then you got to get to work. So Kat used to work at Durham University, and they did a thing where they didn't have enough parking spaces for the staff that worked there, And they do this at my mum's college as well, because my mum works at a college, and they don't have enough parking spaces for the staff. So everyone has to get there an hour earlier. So work starts at 9, but everyone turns up at 8 o'clock to fight over the places to park. And you're just like, what? Who designed this system? This is crazy. It's just another added stress. So if you're then stuck, waiting for the traffic to move because of the traffic jam, rush hour, whatever, it's another stress. We could have school buses that pick kids up from outside their homes. They drive to the corner of the road and stop, and the kids get on board from that street on the corner each morning. If a kid doesn't turn up, it's noted there and then, and the parents are informed, hey, your kid didn't get on the bus this morning, so they know instantly. It'd be a lot safer, and it would get rid of this every day, every morning, a million cars turning up outside a little tiny, primary school in a village, clogging up the road, and the kids running across the road between cars, and it's just it's a recipe for disaster, and it's really stressful as well. There's loads of little things that we could do in life, in our world, in our societies that we've created, just to take the stress off, and I understand why people stick their head in the sand. I understand why people just don't want to believe that COVID was real, or that. And I find it frustrating, but I understand the psychology behind it. I'm empathetic enough to go, okay, I get it. Climate change is terrifying. It really is. Did you see what happened in Nepal this week? That is because of climate change. There's probably going to be another deluge at some time today or over the weekend, because there is a lake that's that's filling up in the mountains. 5,000 meters above sea level, 5 kilometers above sea level, and if that water all drops a kilometer, it gets very, very fast, very, very fast. Oh my God, Graham, this happens with a lot of places with parking. Yeah, it does. They do it on purpose to stress people out. And then I talked a little bit a while ago about parking, about how pay and display is incredibly stressful way of having to park your car, and then you've got to have an app, and everywhere you go, so you go to a new city that you've never been before, they have a different parking app, right? Which I really hate. There should be one national parking app, and that is it. That all the councils use for council parking. But like every car park you go in has different rules. It might be pay and display. It might be automatic number plate recognition. So you don't have to pay and display. You just pay when you leave. Or it might have automatic number plate recognition, but you pay when you get there, and you have to pay for X many hours, and then you have to stress out about getting back to the car in time, etc., etc. And they do this on purpose. They've sat around the table and gone, how can we make parking as stressful as possible? Why? Because when you're stressed, you make mistakes. And mistakes are costly. And if you mess up and you accident, I've paid in display before, right? And I walk back to the car. I left my hat in the car, right? So I get the ticket, walk back to the car, get my hat, put the ticket in my wallet, don't I? And then walk off without displaying it, because I was like, in my head, I was just miles away. I was doing something else, and then I realised I got my ticket in. Stress. Legged it back to the car. Luckily, I didn't get a ticket that time, but it's like there's so many traps to fall down, and we live in a society. It reminds me of like Demolition Man. You remember in Demolition Man where he swore, and money, he got a ticket for swearing, and he ended up using them for bog roll. Do you remember that, right? That's what it's like. You make one mistake, you make one error, like not your fault, and you've got to pay for it. I often get split save tickets when I'm going to Liverpool on the train from Durham, because it costs like £100 each way now to get from Durham to Liverpool. It takes 3 hours. The train's never on time. It's utterly appalling service by Transparent Express, and I hate it. But I normally get a split save ticket, right? So through the train line. So I pay for a ticket to Leeds, and then there's another ticket from Leeds to Liverpool, for instance, right? And it's £2 cheaper, but you have to get that train. But you stay where you are, right? It's 2 tickets, but you just stay where you are on the train, right? I went up to Edinburgh last year, and it was a split ticket. So I got on the train to Edinburgh from Durham station. Got on the train, trundling up. It's a split one. It's to Newcastle, and then it's a different ticket from Newcastle to Edinburgh, and I just thought this was to save money. But no, when the ticket inspector came round, actually there was another train that I was supposed to get. I was supposed to change trains in Newcastle, but the train time that I was supposed to get in Newcastle, a different train, that actually we were late getting in, so I would have missed my connection anyway. And it hilariously enough left at exactly the same time that my train left. It was supposed to leave at a certain time, but then it didn't because my train was late, whatever. And so I just sat on the train and just thought, okay, I'm good all the way to all the way to Edinburgh. But no, I was supposed to get off, so I had to pay a fine. For me, an absolutely honest mistake on an empty fucking train. There wasn't anyone else on the bastard thing, but it's like, ha, we got you, yeah. And yeah, I want everyone to chill out, but not by telling them to chill out, because that's the worst way to make people chill out. Just calm down. The best way to get people to chill out is just to take the edge off life. And we could do that in a hundred different ways. In a hundred different ways. In Loughborough, I taught that in kids living with a certain range got priority. Was the very thing on the list. There are lots of things we can do to protect people's lives. The trouble is, it takes a death or three, usually to force the powers to be that even look at it. Yeah, you're right, Captain. Captain Coconut. It takes the death of a child in order to put some bloody road calming measures on a road. Otherwise, you just don't get it. And that is disgusting. That is, and they wait for a child to die, and like, okay, maybe we should put some traffic calming measures on this road now. Yeah. Was that buttering or buffering your end? Well, so far on this stream, I've dropped 13,111 frames. So yeah, as long as the audio's all right, you can just deal with me being a bit max headroom, I think. There are lots of things we can do to protect people's lives. I've read that one. I keep seeing G Freeze in weird poses. I thought he was trying to do psychic mind games again. Bring on the new age of the bike. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, mate. I mean, if I've got a mate, right, from school. Thank you very much for the super chat. Massive petrolhead. Man loves his cars. Loved his cars, right? And he had a bit of money, so he could spend it on cars, because that's what some people who have a lot of money like to spend the money on, cars. And he moved to Amsterdam, and he did away with his car. He just didn't need one, because he could cycle everywhere. It was easier. It was easier, cheaper, and faster. But yeah, we're heading in the right direction, don't we? Most of Liverpool city centre is now pedestrianised, which is wonderful. So Paradise Street is all pedestrianised now. Church Street wasn't pedestrianised when I was a kid, but it is now. That's fantastic. Lots more pedestrian areas in Liverpool. Newcastle's only got one pedestrianised street. Well done. Market Street, I think it is. They need to do a bit more on that. Manchester, yeah, they're getting some way there towards making it all pedestrianised, around the Exchange building and stuff, which is good. The trams are allowed, but I don't think cars are allowed down Cross Street, I think it's anymore. So that's good. Birmingham obviously going in the right direction. Oxford Street in London getting being pedestrianised. Fantastic. People complain about it. No, piss off. And if you talk to anyone who moans about this, right, ask them why, when they go to Alton Towers, or they go to Disneyland, or they go to any theme park in the world, do they park in the car park and not outside the Nemesis? Yeah, you probably walk about 2 kilometres to get to the Nemesis from the car park, all in all. And people are happy to walk it. That's fine. And yeah, you might carry some stuff. You might buy a t-shirt. You might buy a mug. You might win a massive cuddly teddy on the Hook a Duck store, whatever, right? You carry it. You got arms. You got legs. Use them. And if you are disabled, or mobility is difficult, then we have the little mobility scooters. You don't need a car. You don't need a massive car for one person. I must admit that when I first saw the report about renaming Luke and Ontario to Late America, my initial thought was have some new pages from the Epstein files dropped. Yeah. Well, there was a thing about I did that joke in the thumbnail about lock him up. Someone said we should rename Loch Ness, lock him up, and release the files. Bikes are getting more dangerous than cars now. These electric bikes riding on pavement killed my uncle's father-in-law last year in a collision on the path outside his bungalow. Yeah, that's the thing. The e-bikes, and there's a lot of things that aren't e-bikes that are called e-bikes, but they're not legal in this country. Yeah, we need to be getting on top of them. And One of the things that I would love to see, which we could do now, right? You know, those electric bikes, those e-bikes have an immobilizer on them, and the police have a key, and they can press a button and it stops. That's it, stops. Um, Pedestrianising areas is fine, but thinking through services, deliveries, etc., needs to be thought through. Um, well, I mean, no, One Piece, yeah, it does need to be thought through, but like an ambulance can get down Church Street in Church Road in Church Street, is it in Liverpool? Church Street and Paradise Street. They can get vehicles can get down there. I mean, they have to remove the bollards or lower the bollards to get in. But I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. And then obviously deliveries take place before 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't have a problem with that. Um, wasn't that anonymous lot supposed to release the unredacted Epstein files? Yeah, fat lot of good they did. H.G. Wells railed against pollution in the street, horse shite. Yeah. Well, horses were more dangerous than cars. Horses killed more people than cars when we had horse-drawn carts because they weren't as controllable. And if a car, if a horse got spooked by a loud noise and started running through town, it's got a cart attached to the back of it. People freaking died. But yeah, I agree that there shouldn't be bikes on pavements. They should be in cycle lanes, and I think that we need to start bringing in some sort of cycle licenses for cycling in big cities. You know, if you want to use those particular cycle lanes, you have to be registered, which we can do now. We can use it. You know, we can have a sticker on the bikes and NFT sticker or something like that, and you're allowed to use the bike lanes, but you have to take a proficiency test and you have to stop for pedestrians. I don't care if the pedestrian is standing in the middle of in the same way that if there's a pedestrian standing in the middle of a road, right, in the middle of a lane, yeah, you have to stop. You have to stop drivers, and all drivers know this. They go, okay, well, I better not hit that pedestrian who's standing in the middle of the road. But cyclists don't seem to think this. Cyclists are like, how dare they be in my lane? I'm going to mow them down now. And I mean, it's a minority of cyclists to do this, but it gives a bad name to all cyclists. So I'd like to see more cycle lanes, um, and um, and proficiency tests for doing that. I want a complete clampdown on e-bikes because e-bikes are supposed to be capped as at 20 miles an hour. They're not supposed to be able to go faster than that. But you're right, yeah, there needs to be legislation brought in to stop that, and also immobilizers need to be brought in. You know what? There's going to be a point where they have immobilizers for cars, like remote immobilizers, where they can just go to the DVLA and say, you know, the police to get into the file and say, right, here's the license plate of that car, turn it off. There was an eccentric had a couple of zebras pulling a carriage. Turns out they had a tendency to bite and not let go. That's so bizarre. A daft woman near me picks her kid up from school on an e-bike, no helmets, fast too. Yeah. And there's e-scooters as well, which can be quite dangerous. But yeah, e-bikes are being souped up and used in robberies. Yeah, yeah, I agree. There needs to be more stuff. Hidden Knight says many e-bikes can reach 55 miles on a full charge. So if you can go at 55 miles an hour, it's not an e-bike, that is classified as an electric motorbike, and therefore they need to be licensed and regulated. But I don't think they should be allowed. I don't think that those bikes should be allowed. E-bikes for pavement riding should be limited for walking speed, or just make push scooters or pavement use only, and bike use the road, and be over 18 to ride on an e-bike. Yeah, look, you're coming out with really great policies here that the Labour government could crack on with, although there are a lot of things going on all at the same time. Cycle lanes from my place to city centre full of potholes and uneven surface. Yeah, bike makes me go wee, so probably best I don't use one until I'm allowed to go to the toilet. Obviously, the old joke, isn't it, about the two nuns cycling along, having a great time, and one says to the other, I've never come this way before, and the other one says, maybe it's the cobbles. Anyway, thanks for the super chat, Hidden Knight. Let's put it to a vote. All in favour of renaming the reflecting pool to the deflecting pool. I love that, mate. That is very good. I love that, Hidden Knight. I'm in favour of that. If a car has a radio immobiliser, you could always find the antenna and Faraday cage it. Yeah, I suppose you could, But then would your GPS work? I don't know. I mean, there's ways around it. Of course there are. I mean, it's like saying, what's the point of having a law against murder? People are still going to kill each other. Well, of course they are. But I mean, it will be against the law to do that. So it'll be against the law to, make your car so it can't be immobilized if necessary. But I also, I've mentioned this before. I also think there should be limits on car speed. That's it. Goes at 70 miles an hour. Can't go anything more than that. And now we've got the tech, and I know we got the tech because this happens in my car. No more tailgating. Your car will not allow you to tailgate. If you're going at 70 miles an hour, you have to leave 70 meters or whatever it is between you and the car in front of you. That's it. You literally can't go beyond that. If you want to go faster than that, if you want to go closer to the car in front, you have to change lanes. And if you're in the outside lane, well, tough titty. You're going to have to wait till they get out the bloody way. Bloody dawdlers. They put a bike lane in Burton. At one point, lane goes right through a lamppost. Can't see that causing trouble. Is that like in the cartoons where they used to have like the ski tracks and one of them went round a tree like that? The other nun said, I'll use the saddle next time. What I think of Doug Ford is unprintable. Yes, so Doug Ford, who is the Premier of Ontario, or America as it's now known, he's gone on a campaign to get rid of the 19 kilometres of cycle lanes in Toronto. 19 kilometres. And Toronto's a nightmare to get around. It's a grid system designed by someone who, mathematics, no beauty or maths, no beauty or maths. That's quite a recurring mantra of the design of cities and of human habitations around the world. For the last God knows how many years, it's been no beauty, no aesthetics, just maths. And so it's a grid system, so it's really hard to get anywhere. It takes a long time. It's quicker in Toronto to go underground and walk through what they call the path, which is like the underground labyrinth, which is great for getting lost in. But trying to get to somewhere in a car, you're better off walking, mate. You're better off walking. Electric cars won't let you tailgate. No, they do. Our electric car lets you tailgate. It just has a little warning comes up and says you're tailgating. Slow down. Probably why the petrol heads hate the idea of electric cars. Yeah. No, I mean, the petrol heads hate the idea of electric cars because the oil companies have spent a lot of money telling people that the electric cars are bad, and there's things called range anxiety, which is bullshit. I mean, it's just bullshit. No tailgating because the computer in my car will not let me. New hacking project acquired. Don't those Cybertrucks have remote stroke auto immobilizer, which sometimes kick in automatically and cause fatal accidents? Well, I mean, there's a difference between turning the engine off and just bringing the car to a slam on brake stop in the third lane on a motorway and it coming to a gradual halt. But yeah, Montreal's so much better than Toronto. David Duell, Rational National on your YouTube, did a video about how Doug Ford ripped into Trump and hated the fact that he liked something that Ford had said. Yeah, well, a stopped clock is right twice a day, isn't it? There's been another massive Russian attack on Ukraine, I'm afraid. Ukraine says it shot down 7 ballistic missiles and 258 drones, which is insane. And Ukraine Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said Russia targeted ports, grain storage, energy facilities, industrial sites, and other civilian infrastructure. And I want to make this point very clearly. And I know pretty much everyone on here is on our side when we talk about the invasion of the illegal imperialistic invasion of Ukraine. When Ukraine picks a target, generally speaking, it's a military target. And you might go, well, how is a Amazon warehouse or Wildberries warehouse? How is that a military? Because they sell stuff to the military. They sell Kevlar vests to the military. They sell ammunition. They sell weapons to the military. That's why it's a legitimate target. Whereas the Russians go after like actual not a warehouse with two night watchmen in, but they go after shopping malls filled with shoppers. They go after concert halls and schools and hospitals. They blow up the Ukrainians are blowing up refineries to damage the economy of Russia, whereas Russia is targeting power stations that provide power to the people of Ukraine, so the Ukrainians freeze to death in winter. That's the difference. I had some American woman going on about how much oil leaked from a wind turbine. What? Yeah, they kill the birds. Wonder what the US delivered to Russia the other day. You don't use a heavy lift plane to deliver a single man. Yeah, true. I survived my trip to Phil Morehouse country. Oh, well done, Gareth. Gareth texted me this morning, said I'm in Phil Morehouse country. I said don't make eye contact and don't feed them after midnight. Oops, somebody already did. I will say though, Phil, actually, were you saying Lincolnshire? Because Phil lives in Lincolnshire, but he's obviously from Yorkshire. So, do you mean which one do you mean, Gareth? Thank you for the super chat. Which one do you mean? I won't be doing a show later with Phil. I'm going to be travelling to Manchester today. So sorry about that, friends, Romans, and cunty men. I'm going to Manchester to go and see Pulp. Hey, if I get a decent enough signal, I'll try and do a bit of a video. I wanted to do a video when I went to one day of the Kendal Calling Festival. I just couldn't get a signal. Couldn't get a signle. I was going, I'll do a little bit, me walking around, my phone, and have a laugh. Couldn't get a signal. Probably the same thing's going to happen in Manchester, but we will see. So yeah, quite excited about that. Going to see Pulp with a few of my mates, one of whom we first went to see Pulp 30 years ago this year. 30 years ago at the 9X in Manchester. The 9X. Great days. 1996. Who was there? Were you there? Were you there? I asked a friend of mine who I haven't seen for a while, who lives in Manchester, if she wanted to come to Port with me because I had a spare ticket, and she was like, "Oh, I'd love to. I don't think I'm going to be able to." I remember seeing them at the Royal Court in 1995, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I was at that gig!" And she's like, "No way!" I'm like, "Yes!" And Catatonia supported them, and it smelt of vanilla. It was absolutely fantastic at the height of their powers. I think it was like the week that Misshapes and Sorted Freeze and Wiz came out. Great days. George, I tried looking for an electric motorbike. Thumbs down. We'll just get an e-bike because apparently they can go at 55 miles an hour. Just fast enough for me. Get a bit scared if you go faster than that. Do you, George, are you looking for like Akira style motorbikes? Yeah, is that what you want? That'd be cool. I think you should have cleared it with me before you head to my patch. I think you should have cleared it with me before you head to my patch, Graham, says Pete. Can I? Is it okay if I travel to Manchester later today, Pete? Some still call it the 9X or the MEN Arena. What is it now? Is it just the Manchester Arena now? It was the 9X when it was first built. The silent scooter seems like a cool Opian, George. The silent scooter. Gareth, I had to do a double take there. You said truckers, Gareth. The truckers this morning. Gareth, did you tell us whether you're in Lincolnshire or... Oh, there we go. Wow, look at that SG, £20 super chat. Thank you. You'll be so close to my house. Daughter is going to see Pulp as well. Oh, cool. Prayers for all the people in Nepal. They hardly contribute to anything to climate change, but they suffer horrendously due to it. Thank you so much, SG. That is really, really kind of you. Yeah, tell your daughter to look out for the hat. I'll be there wearing my hat at Pulp. And yeah, you're absolutely right about Nepal. They hardly contribute anything to climate change, but suffer hideously due to it. Yeah, that is true for so many countries around the world. Look at Tuvalu or Kiribati or the Maldives. These places don't do much when it comes to climate change. They're the ones pumping out, just 1% of all the pollutants in the world come from Britain. And people go, "Oh, it's only 1%. We don't need to do anything about it." I'm like, 1%? Are you kidding me? There's 200 countries in the world. So we're already double what we should be if it was all fairly, given out. But yeah, it is a real shame that climate change is disproportionately going to affect people in developing nations, the global south, and it's not their fault that we got into this situation in the first place. Really, that Nepal flood was more like a tsunami coming down that valley. Yeah, it was. It was insane. It's the AO Arena now, is it? Can't keep up. I thank you very much to SG, and SG, this is for you. This is our bin face Feffy. Yay! This is for SG. Woo! Hello. Does that look like Zaphod Beetlebox there? I've got like two heads. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay. They talk on Nepal flooding on all tourists that were missing, presumed dead, but we hear nothing about the people in Nepal. This often happens here tonight. There's a natural disaster anywhere in the world. This happened in the Boxing Day tsunami in 2004. I was in Australia at the time, and it was about how many Australians had died, because I guess that's what makes it Australian news more than anything. And you would think, well, actually, no, 250,000 people fucking died. So I think that there's, that's worth a story on its own. But I think it's inevitable in the way that things are reported. I don't think it's necessarily chaotic evil for them to do that, because it does tie it to our country in a way that otherwise it wouldn't be tied to. So I know that you'll watch that story and you'll think, what about the people in Nepal? Quite rightly, and be thinking of them. But you'll have other people who will literally think, it's nothing to do with me. I don't live in Nepal. Who gives a fuck, right? But then it could be their nephew, it could be their niece, it could be their sister or their brother, their mother, whoever, who was hiking in the Himalayas, who was crossing that particular border, which I've crossed myself from Nepal into Tibet. I've crossed that border. I could have been there at that border point. I was there around this time, 16 years ago. I was at that border. You know, scary stuff. Absolutely scary stuff. It looked like a nuke going off. Poor folk. Yeah. Yeah. Well, as the sea rises, the whole flat bit on the east is going to be a swamp, then a shallow bit of sea. Lincolnshire? Yeah. Thank you very much, SG. It's really kind. Tell your daughter, look out for the hat. Come say hello. So yeah, what else have we got to talk about? Ukraine-Russia talks could restart in September, just like school. The announcement has come from President Zelensky's chief of staff, Budanov, and Budanov said that he hoped US representatives would also take part. Ukraine has worked with American and European officials on a one-page set of proposals intended for Moscow. The last tri-nation negotiations involving Ukraine and Russia and the US took place in February, but we know that Russia is very reticent to actually have direct talks with Ukraine. They would rather talk to America, because obviously America's on their side. Hidden Light said, good point though. I always think about everyone, not trying to be selfish about it, just well to know that we don't get the full story, just bits connected to the disaster, if that makes sense. Yeah, Hidden Light. Yeah, I agree. And all things being equal, the people who have died, who live there, who've had their lives destroyed and their homes destroyed and everything, I mean, the entire villages have just been swept away. They're just not there anymore. It's like equivalent to being hit by a nuclear bomb. It's horrific. And one thing that has really, really upset me, particularly this week, is on every fucking news report, it's gone, scientists can't say whether this is 100% down to climate change. Stop it. Just stop doing that. Just stop doing that. You know when people say that their team is going to win the league this season, right? They don't know. They probably won't, actually. But, sometimes they will. Whatever, right? But they're absolutely fucking certain about it, aren't they? Can we have that kind of certainty from scientists? Please? I know a lot of people who work in climate change science are mathematicians. They're not really into human psychology. But you've got to tell people this is directly because of climate change. And this is going to continue to happen. It's going to get worse. And that line, which I think is a really good line to use, is these disasters are going to get closer and closer and closer to home, until the point when you're not watching someone else's footage that they've recorded on their phone. You're going to be the one doing the recording. King Harald of Norway has died age 89. 89? I thought it was 84. Oh, it says 89 in my notes here. He died peacefully in Oslo University Hospital. He's been king since 1991. Public support for the monarchy has fallen from 72% in 2024 to 54% in 2026, possibly because of the this crown prince who's turned out to be a massive nonce. Marius Borg Høiby, sentenced in June to 4 years in prison, being convicted of 2 rapes and numerous other offences. And the king's wife, Mette Marit, has faced intense scrutiny over correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein. So yeah, the it looks like the Norwegian monarchy is hanging on by a thread at the moment. Mm. Sorry about the buffering. Ratko Mladic has died, convicted of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, the Srebrenica massacre of July 1995. At least 8,000 Bosniak Muslim men and boys were murdered after Bosnian Serb forces overran the UN designated safe areas. And you've got to know how horrific this is. There were Belgian peacekeepers in there in Srebrenica at the time, and they left. They left Ratko Mladic and his men turned up and just started fucking murdering people, and the UN just turned a blind eye. And no one's ever been brought to book, I don't think, about that. Victims were buried in mass graves. And Mladic also commanded the Bosnian Serb forces in the siege of Sarajevo, which killed 10,000 civilians. And he spent most of his years as one of the world's most wanted fugitives. And he was arrested in 2011. And when I was going to the Exit Festival with my friend Stan back in 2007, I think it was, I filmed it all. It's dead funny. It's this little mad little fucking video where we drove to Serbia via the Alps, and then we went back via Dracula's castle in Bran Castle in Romania. It was a bit of a mad road trip. In like 1 week, we went to all these mad places. But yeah, on the way down, right? We're going through this forest, and I'm filming myself because Stan's driving, and I say, "Oh, this is where the Serbians hide their wanted war criminals in this particular forest." And at the time, I didn't know where it was. It was just a bit of a throwaway line. It was just a gag, because there were wanted war criminals in Bosnia still. They found him a couple of miles from the road where I fucking said that. I'm not kidding you. I'm driving down this random road. I wasn't driving. I was a passenger down this random road in Serbia, and I'm like, and this is where Serbia hides its war criminals. And I was right. It was, which is kind of crazy. Do you remember when Osama bin Laden got killed in Pakistan in Abbottabad? Was it Abbottabad? I met a couple who were driving from Milan to Melbourne in a Fiat 500. This mad trip, and I met them we were going across on the ferry, I think, from Flores in Indonesia over to West Timor, from when they could get to East Timor and get on a boat to Australia, right? That was the plan. And it was I met them just after Osama bin Laden had been killed, right? And they had a GPS tracker with them, like I did when I was traveling. And 819 today, hooray! Happy 819th birthday, Liverpool. West Derby, where I'm from, it's actually older than that. In the Doomsday Book, West Derby, it is. Something came to my attention. Disney stores are all about princesses that must look pretty and for their prince to get married and live happily ever after. Yet 7 dwarfs encourage high-hos. Very good. Very good. Everything is older than America. Yeah, it is. It is. So yeah, a couple of months ago, I had a meeting with Steve Rotheram about Global Scouts Day next year. So we were organising that, and we got a message off one of the people who's working on the project, who works with the strategic mayoral team in Liverpool, and it wasn't me who messages, my friend Laura. And the woman we were dealing with turned out to be Laura's ex-husband's podcast buddy's sister, whose wedding I filmed like 20 years ago for free, just for a freebie for a mate. My mate's sister was getting married, and I think he did the music for one of my little short films, and in return I said I'd film his sister's wedding. This is why you should always do nice things, because you never know when you're going to meet someone again in the future. And they're like, hey, you film my... But yeah, Liverpool's a very small place. What can I say? It's like, you're my ex-husband's podcast buddy's sister. Okay. But yeah, small world, smaller Liverpool. Everything's very coinky-dinky. My local pub just turned 300 last week as well. My school was founded in 1708. 8, I think, the Blue Coat School. So that's over 300 years old. And then you've got Liverpool, obviously, is 800 years old. West Derby in the Doomsday Book, over 1,000 years old. The church that I went to this week for the funeral that I attended is also mentioned in the Doomsday Book. The churches, opposite the Chilwell Valley, Chilwell Abbey pub, the All Saints Church, yeah, mentioned in the Doomsday Book. Yeah, America's pretty new. And Lake Ontario has been called Lake Ontario for 400 years. So screw you, Trump. My local is the Old Crown in Birmingham, opened 1398. That's just wonderful, isn't it? Isn't that wonderful, that link with the past, the people who, there's a great old joke, isn't there? I'm going to steal this from Rob Newman. If you haven't heard this one already, I love it. He talks about buying an antique bed. An antique, 600-year-old mahogany four-poster antique bed that was like constructed in the 1400s or something. And he was lying on it the other day, and he was just thinking, all the historical all the things that must have happened in that bed, all the the sex and the orgies and the death and the childbirth and then I thought, I wonder what happened to it before I bought it. Oh, always makes me laugh, that one. Anyway, so yes, Ratko Mladic has been in jail pretty much since 2011. I mean, they've held him. He was extradited to The Hague. He was convicted in 2017, and he remained in custody until his death. So there you go. Good. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell, Ratman. Meanwhile, I mentioned, I think it was on the Friday Night Social last week, about ICE looking into buying electroshock gloves. Yeah, they've done it. 6,000 electroshock gloves. 6,000. So you touch someone and it gives them a painful electric shock. And this is for ICE. Now, I want to explain something, right? ICE are not law enforcement, okay? Outstaying your visa or being in a country where you don't have a passport, you don't have right to be there, right? It's actually a misdemeanor, right? Okay, it's not actually against the law. It's not criminal. It's a civil proceedings that will be brought against you. These are civil enforcement officers, the ICE people. They are civil enforcement officers, not for getting people for actually committing crimes. You can't go to jail for being here without a passport. That's not how it works. That isn't a crime. Or being in America without a passport, or being in America, they say it's illegal because you're here illegally, but it's actually nothing to do with criminal law. It's to do with civil law. It's the same as giving you an electric shock for getting a parking fine or returning a library book back late. Happy birthday, Paula and Alistair. Hey! Oh, we got another one. Oh, brilliant. This is for Paula as well. Paula, you can also have some confetti. Yay! Happy birthday. Wonder if ICE will be getting funky party armbands with a new uniform by Hugo Boss. How does Hugo Boss still exist as a company, considering he designed the uniforms for the Nazis? Surely that should have been the end of it, right? Anyway, new US mail-in voting restrictions are going to take effect. New restrictions affecting mail-in ballots come into force across the US Postal Service. The US Postal Service confirmed the changes yesterday. The November midterms are only weeks away, and mail-in ballots have become one of Trump's principal political targets following the 2020 presidential election. Even though he votes by mail, but it's that you can't. It's harder to cheat with that. If you've got a voting machine that are all linked up to the internet and they're all owned by Elon Musk, who's your busy mate, you can change the outcome of what those voting machines say, which is what Trump did, which is absolutely what he did. He didn't win that last election. No way he won that last election. He fucking cheated. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go in a minute. It doesn't feel right. I don't have a clock behind me, but I'm gonna have to get going. I've got to go to Manchester. I've got to let Phil know I'm not doing the show today. I should have told him already, shouldn't I? I'm a very bad friend. No wonder he's always so grumpy with me. There's a pub on Ivegate in Bradford, has an oubliette dungeon underneath the bar. Woo-hoo-hoo, an oubliette. It's a great word, that, isn't it? Put them in the oubliette. Can I have an omelette in my oubliette? No, you can't have an omelette in your oubliette. Don't be silly. Apparently, the shock gloves were made by Hugo Boss. I mean, gotta be fabulous when you go around being a fascist prick. Yeah. Yeah. The Constitution, we the people, not I, the orange shitstain. Well, there you go. Anyway, got some good news for you. Okay, so I'm going to round up on some good news. We're having a bumper berry harvest, so I hope you like berries. I hope you like berries because we've got an unusually large berry harvest this summer as a result of the summer's extreme heat. Blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries have performed particularly well. Many farmers use drip irrigation systems that deliver water directly to the plants, so they haven't been affected by the lack of rain as other crops like cereal crops have. That's good. That's good. However, late season strawberry production could slow because plants have been heavily cropped, and also blackcurrant output is going to go down. So if you like your blackcurrant jam, that's going to become more expensive. Whereas it should be blackberries and blueberries and raspberries, all the berries, they're doing great. Meanwhile, scientists are decoding whale chit-chat. I was thinking of whales, not the country, the animal, just before, because I was thinking, when I talk about people getting stressed by the noise of cars and the fact that cars are everywhere and they're unstoppable and they're just always a meter away from where you are and they're traveling so fast and they're just a meter away from where you are, and if you trip over on the road, on the pavement, and you accidentally fall into the road, you're dead. That's it. No messing around. You're just over. That's it. Life forfeit for tripping over. The whales and dolphins, we know, and orcas get really stressed out by the sound of boats, by the sound of boats. Especially the bigger the boat, the more they get stressed out by it. Now they were doing a test on the stress hormones in whales, and they found that on September the 11th, when all international shipping basically stopped for a few days, the level of stress on the whales that they were monitoring went down massively, because there wasn't this noise echoing miles through the ocean, noise, which is really stressful. Loud mechanical noises are stressful for humans. Do you know what's not stressful? Bird song. Not stressful. In fact, bird song is a fantastic antidepressant. Turns out whale song, it's just gossip. The orca chat is their version of X. Omelette and an oubliette. Would that be an omelette? Possibly, I don't know. Is Graham proving himself dispensable this morning? Yes, possibly. Yeah, you could dispense with me, I'm sure. Oubliette is French for forgetter. Yes, it is, isn't it? Forgetter. It's a forgetter. It's you put them in the oubliette and you forget about them. Anyway, researchers have been making substantial progress in understanding how whales communicate using underwater microphones and drones and long-term behavioural observations, machine learning and artificial intelligence. They've found that beluga whales use dozens of different clicks, squeals, whistles, mewls and trills, and the vocal communication is really important because Arctic waters can be dark or cloudy, limiting visibility. So they just shout at each other. Oh, where's that fish? Oh, it's over here. Quick, get it. Sperm whales communicate using a pattern known as of clicks known as coders. Different sperm whale groups use different coders, different languages, different accents, different dialects. And I believe that dogs have different dialects in different parts of the UK. Dogs, scientists can tell where a dog is from in the UK by its woof, because it sounds different in different parts of the UK, apparently, or so I'm told. But the project SETI, spelt with a C, not an S, they're not looking for extraterrestrial life. They're looking for Cetian translation initiatives, is training machine learning systems on sperm whale communication. This is really fantastic. Some sounds have characteristics researchers compare with vowel-like variations. And understanding these sounds could help scientists identify populations and monitor how human activity is affecting them, which is really cool. Meanwhile, there's been a cat, a Maine Coon kitten, terrible name, from Wisconsin, broken the Guinness World Record for the most toes on a cat. His name is Erebus Anomaly. He has 29 toes. A normal cat has 18. He has 8 toes on one paw, 7 on each of the other 3. The condition is called polydactyly. It's got T-Y-L-Y at the end of the word. God, what am I supposed to do with that? Polydactyly. Polydactyly is polydacty Polydactyly. Polydactyly is a comparatively common amongst Maine Coon cats. His father has extra toes, 6 on each paw, giving 24. The previous record was 28 toes, so now they've got one with 29. So there you go. That's a little bit of good news there, that a cat was born horrifically deformed, but now is very, very good at playing Rachmaninoff on the piano, which most cats can't do because they haven't got the number of fingers they need. So there you go. One of our dogs came from South Wales. He barks in Welsh. Yeah. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure there was a thing. I mean, I might have dreamt it. I don't know. These things happen. Anyway, the sun is coming out, as you can see. Oh, that's good. That's good news for later today. Hannibal Lecter had polydactyly. Well, yeah. Yeah. Bloody autocorrect. Grouse and pheasants are more jump scares than stress. Seagulls are stressful if you're insomniac. Yes. Well, I did say bird song, not the call of sea rats who just go outside your house, flat, whatever, by the docks. What noise do pterodactyls make in the toilet? None. The P is silent. Very good. Very good, Jenny. What do you call a dinosaur that's just sat on a cactus? A megasaurus. A megasaurus. A mega... Tough crowd. I better go. I've got to go to Manchester. So listen, thanks very much for watching today. Thanks very much for the super chat. Huge happy returns to both Alistair and to Paula for their birthdays yesterday and today. That's fantastic news, and I'm glad you are still enjoying the show. Now, it's probably quite doubtful I'll be able to do a show tomorrow morning because I don't know where I'm staying tonight. Because, you just got to go with the flow, haven't you? But if I can, I'll have my phone with me, my phone charger. So you might get a special Morning Brew in the morning and me on my phone, possibly in Manchester, possibly in Liverpool, possibly in Durham. I don't know where I'm going to be. But yeah, look out for that. So if you've enjoyed the show, please give us a like. At the very least, and also if you're watching this on catch up, please give us a subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon, because like I say, I keep saying this, but during the summer holidays, which we're still in, seems to be going on forever, my schedule's going to be all out of whack. So yeah, I'm afraid no agenda tonight, and there's going to be no Friday night social tonight either. Sorry, you're going to have to find other stuff to do with your time. But we'll be back. Hopefully I'll do a show tomorrow, and then I'll definitely be here on Sunday for the Sunday sermon. Okay, so it's lashing down here, Graham. Oh, typical Manchester. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks for the super chats. Happy birthday for all that are having birthdays around this time. And until next time, I'll say thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.